How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to another Overwatch League news video. And not even 48 hours after my previous news video, I have yet another update for you guys regarding the scheduling for the Overwatch League moving forward. As we all know from the previous update we got from Blizzard and the Overwatch League, all live homestand events set to be played in March and April have been canceled to try and take precautionary measures against the current worldwide outbreak we're dealing with. However, they didn't really say anything about scheduling and how it's going to change just yet, or how the games are going to be played over these next couple of months, but now that has officially changed. Just recently, the Overwatch League on their website came out and released a new article, and here's what they had to say in it. Earlier this week, we canceled Overwatch League homestand events for March and April, and today we're announcing that those matches will be played live in an online format. Online play allows us to prioritize the health and safety of our entire community while still continuing to bring fans high-quality entertainment and competition. We expect matches to resume online beginning March 21st. We're currently working on a revamped match schedule that will allow all teams around the world to begin competing in March while minimizing latency concerns. We will structure the March and April matches with teams competing within 3 groups based on regional geography. Okay, pause. There's some big time news to absorb here, and the first thing is really good. It's super positive stuff. We get matches on March 21st again, so we're only going one weekend without matches for the time being, it would seem. You know, that's a really great advantage that esports holds over regular sports, you know? They don't have to worry about always being in person. They can make up this stuff online and not have to be too concerned. Obviously, it sucks that we can't have these live events for home games right now, but we can still play the matches, and I think that's what matters the most currently. As it currently stands, a lot of stuff is shutting down. We're not having any sports, there's no March Madness, the MLB is postponing things right now, the NBA, NFL is moving away from stuff right now. Everybody's just taking precautionary measures, and things don't look like they're getting any better at the moment, so we're all kind of just going to be trapped, you know? There's not much for us to do, so at least we'll still have the Overwatch League for some entertainment. I feel like this was to be predicted, you know? Online matches just seem like the most logical way to go with things, but yeah. Just try and remember, mark your calendars even if you have to, that online games will be beginning next Saturday on March 21st. Now for the other big news we got out of these first 2 paragraphs. So it looks like they are completely revamping the match schedule, and that is kind of why if you have the app or whatever, or if you looked online, we had all of those matches just completely disappear from like week 6 to week 13 or whatever it is. It makes a lot of sense now. They're kind of just changing things up and then they'll repost it later on. What's interesting but also really awesome about the way they're changing things up with the schedule is how much of an emphasis they're putting on making things as fair as possible. Since these games are not being held on LAN, latency issues become a bit more relevant, and I think it's really good that the Overwatch League is trying to eliminate these issues as much as humanly possible. And having these 3 groups based off of geography is a great way to go about it. Have like 2 groups of 7, then a group of 6, and bam, there you go. Perfect. Like, you can have the Shock, the Valiant, and the Gladiators all play in LA. Then I saw that the Soul Dynasty are going back to their LA home right now, so you can include them in the bunch, then a couple of other teams. Maybe you could have some teams go up to Canada, for example, because you have the Vancouver Titans and Toronto Defiant already up there. There's some really good and innovative ways to do this, I feel. As of this recording, I don't have any further details for you as to who could be in each regional group, or what the schedule is looking like for that matter. However, in the article I referenced earlier, they said that a revised match schedule will be shared next week, and I'll be sure to share all of the details about it as soon as it drops. Also, another thing to note is that all matches will still be broadcasted live on YouTube and will be available on demand. Now I just wanted to give a couple more general thoughts before moving on to the other important information I wanted to share with you guys. So obviously, it still really sucks that we don't get live crowds at these homestand events anymore. That really is awful. I think it really does help build up the atmosphere. However, it's really good that we're not going to be bored for like the next couple of months, you know? We still get games, and finally, we get to see the Pacific play again, and more importantly, we get to see the Pacific East play for the first time this year. After all of this waiting, we finally get to witness the Shanghai Dragons, Chengdu Hunters, Guangzhou Charge, Seoul Dynasty, and Hangzhou Spark. Finally, we get to see what these guys are made of. Okay. Now let's talk about the other half of this article because there's some other really important information to take note of here. So, first off, the Overwatch League plans to return to team-hosted homestand competitions in front of live audiences as soon as it is safe and logistically possible. So that's good, right? As soon as we get the green light, boom, we're getting homestands again. I don't know how long that'll be, but just know that as soon as we do get that green light, they are going to be returning. Now for the bad news about all of this, though. So, because many of our teams and players haven't played yet, we will be moving All-Star Weekend to after the 2020 season and are canceling the mid-season tournament. Further All-Stars details will be announced in the future. So yeah, that's some really grim news to end off this article after all this positive stuff we got. But it's definitely the right thing to do in my opinion, because why on earth would you have an All-Star event without a crowd? Like, what's the point of an All-Star game without having people there to enjoy it? And I mean, the article brings a really good point up here. A lot of teams haven't even played games yet, and we have these other teams that we've seen so much of, so it's just not fair, you know? I feel like the likelihood of voting in a bunch of people we've seen a lot of already is a lot higher than some of the guys we haven't seen play at all. There's a lot of really talented players out there in the Pacific, but there's a chance that people won't even take notice of them because they're just so used to watching the Atlantic guys play. So overall, I think this is just a really smart idea. Move it to the end of the season like we had in Season 1. I know it really sucks that we're not getting that midway break for a lot of the players and the teams, but this is just the right thing to do for an entertainment standpoint. I think they understand that. What's the fun in having an all-star game if you're not even entertaining anybody other than some people online? That just makes it so much less exciting, so much less rewarding for all of that hard work you put in. You want the atmosphere to be really fun. As for the mid-season tournament part of this, again, I think this is just the smart and right thing to do in this type of situation, since so many teams aren't going to be able to play as many games as others, and you want an even playing field here. You don't want to screw some teams over out of not being in the top 4 just because they haven't played enough games. It would really suck if we had a super talented team that is obviously top 4 in the league not be able to participate in a tournament like this just for a stupid reason that screws them over. So instead of being in a scenario where we have teams, players, and fans super upset because they feel like they got robbed, just cancel it all together so everybody's a loser in a way, or everybody's a winner, I guess. Nobody has to suffer. Another thing to think about when it comes to this mid-season tournament is that there was a prize pool involved, so I'm wondering what they're going to do with something like that. There was a bunch of money on the line with that type of tournament. So do they plan to save it for next year perhaps? Or are they going to try and just boost up those prize pools at the end of the year? When it comes to All-Star news, I really don't know when they're going to make announcements on that just because it's so far off. It might be a while before we get some official news on that, so just be patient if you're someone who really likes the All-Star events, because it might be a while. Welp, that's pretty much all of the news I had to share with you when it comes to scheduling, cancellations, and what the plan is in general moving forward during these pressing times. So, if you did enjoy this content today, then make sure to hit that like button as it helps me out a ton. And as I said before, I will be covering all of the news that's coming out in terms of the scheduling next week. So if you are new to the channel and you want to stay up to date on all of that, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you know when my videos go out right away. And of course, feel free to let me know what you think of all of this down in the comment section, and if you have any further questions, feel free to ask me and I will try to my absolute best ability to answer them for you. And if you're interested in supporting me beyond my content alone, and if you want to just get more news updates, then consider following me on Twitter at ATP Overwatch, joining my Discord server through the link in the description, or purchasing a channel membership so you can help me earn a little bit of extra money every month, as it helps me out a ton as a college student. And as always, thanks so much for watching today's video. I really do appreciate it, and until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.